The best value in tools just arrived near you. There's a new Harbor Freight store, packed full.
Back in 2011,
Alright, so damn. Alright, so we're gonna be watching The Slow, Painful, Gritty Death of Angry Birds by Sunny V2.
Back in 2011, Angry Birds was everywhere. They had multiple different
They really
games,
were.
toys, and movies, generating hundreds of millions of dollars. But by 2019, they were firing masses of staff, and since then things have only gotten worse. Perhaps it's just karma for stealing the initial idea. Angry Birds wasn't an original concept. In April 2009, a game was released named Crush the Castle, which required players to fire a trebuchet into wooden structure hiding medieval people. Well, 8 months later, in December 2009, game developer Rovio made an app named Angry Birds, which, while clearly being a rip-off, was better in every way. It had cooler, cleaner animated graphics, and different stages, each with different levels. You got points for every enemy killed, and points for every bird you didn't use, giving players the chance to compete for high scores.
Dude, honestly, I remember playing that and just having it on my phone all the time. And I just loved playing that game just because it was so easy and it was like so addictive to like kill those little pigs. I love this game. But I also didn't know that it was a knockoff of another version. So I wonder what happened to the other game, to be honest.
Throw in 5 different birds with 5 different abilities, as well as a cool, catchy soundtrack, and it's easy to see that Angry Birds was better. They'd developed 51 games prior to Angry Birds, none of which saw even the smallest bit of success. Therefore, when Angry Birds took only 2 months to become the #1 paid app in 60 countries, they understandably took the chance to milk it. They'd make loads of different varieties like Angry Birds Seasons, Angry Birds Space, and Angry Birds Star Wars, helping it become the #1 paid app in Apple's App Store with 6 to 7 million paid downloads. By the end of Angry Birds' first year, they'd made $10 million US, but players still demanded more. We have so many fans who have asked for the plush toys, so these are going to be available in a couple of weeks, and we're really trying to build Angry Birds into this entertainment franchise. It took only 4 months before that announced 60,000 Angry Birds soft toys have been sold, as the game itself became the best-selling paid app of all time. Within Angry Birds itself, they'd implement microtransactions like Mighty Eagle, which allowed players to pay to clear entire levels, with celebs like Justin Bieber.
Yo, the Mighty Eagle back in... The Mighty Eagle, like when it showed up in the movie, it was just completely different to what we saw on the game. It was... But also kind of did find it funny though. But also the amount of money that they probably made out of selling 60,000 toys, because this probably just a couple of guys making games. It's probably not a big company yet.
Even advocating for it. Angry Birds made $100 million in 2011 and went from 28 employees in the beginning of the year to 224 employees by the end of 2011. 5 months later, they set a new world record. First mobile game series to reach 1 billion downloads. They'd double their revenue again by the end of 2012, at which point they started to face a serious problem. The game was getting stale. They'd made multiple different Angry Birds versions, but hadn't changed the concept in over 3 years. As a result, in the following year, their profits more than halved, with Angry Birds falling to 59th in the App Store, forcing the franchise to try a new format. They'd release Angry Birds Go at the end of 2013, and while this was somewhat of a Mario Kart ripoff, people absolutely loved it.
I loved it.
So, I mean, it's fun. It is good fun. It looks good. It plays well.
Professional reviewers gave it 7.7, while people on Reddit called it their favorite Angry Birds game, and perfection at its finest.
best thing about it is that this was one of the games that were offline, so you could play this game while like you were on a road trip. And it was like back then where, well, I came from a third world country, so there wasn't that many Wi-Fi spots, especially when if you went like on a long road trip, you didn't have like Wi-Fi in the middle of the road. So we would like download games like Subway Surfers, or this game, which is the one that we mainly played during. Or this game, which is the one that we mainly played. Or this one, which is the one that we mainly played during the time that we were in the road. Holy shit, dude. I just get stuck not knowing what to say sometimes, dude. Shit sucks. This live. I can't be doing this live. Oh, damn. Alright, let me go back to the...
Rovio therefore continued to experiment, releasing an RPG game named Angry Birds Epic, which again received incredible reviews, reading, "The latest Angry Birds title is a welcome addition to a franchise, which hasn't seen much change since its inception back in 2009. Similarly, users said it might be the best RPG title I've ever played."
And honestly, a pretty solid time. I think the approach they went with here really worked and paid off.
The only problem was, these games didn't sell merch like the original Slingshot format. Therefore, merchandise sales plummeted, while total 2014 revenue dropped, and profits fell 73% to 10 million euros. As a result, media outlets reported, Rovio lays off 110 people as Angry Birds hype fades, representing 14% of the company's workforce. They try to fix their decline with yet another experiment, Angry Birds Pop, which was pretty unsuccessful. In a Reddit thread asking, out of all the Angry Birds games, which one do you think is the worst, Pop was mentioned many times over. Therefore, they'd go back to basics and put out Angry Birds 2, the official sequel, although many called it a downgrade from the original.
Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and these are my Prime Confessions.
The sequel.
I mean, what could you really have done to like keep the game alive at that point? Because a lot of games that they have this point where like they peak for like in this case for a few years, because it's one of the only games that like were big at the time. Because I think like Minecraft came like a few years later, or which was getting big around the same time of Angry Birds. But the thing is, a lot of games like have their peak and then they go like sideways, up and down, and then they just kind of crash down. That's pretty much the cycle of every game and the cycle of many things, to be honest. We've seen this in like Minecraft. We just recently watched a video about Pixel Gun, which is pretty much the same thing. That after a while, a video game is gonna get repetitive, and if you add too many things to it, it's eventually gonna die. So, if I was at the creator, bro, I would have milked the fuck out of this game and then just created so many things to make the most money out of it possible. Especially like out of the plushies, I would have just started producing like millions, not millions, but like hundreds of thousands of plushie toys when it was first popping out, just because it was such a big game.
Was filled to the brim with microtransactions, clearly annoying the fan base who wrote, "This is a very greedy game that keeps sucking money out of you. If you play well, the game becomes harder and harder until it's impossible, and then you either have to replay each level 10 times, or buy gems. The game is just trying to throw you off balance and get under your skin so that you pay more." The official IGN review said the game took significant steps backward for the massively popular series. Angry Birds 2 is missing key parts of what made previous games so universally compelling to gamers both hardcore and casual, young and old. Still, due to its intense monetization, Angry Birds 2 became their highest earning game. Surprisingly, however, that very same year, they'd announced losses of almost 15 million and would fire a further third of their workforce, this time being over 200 people. This seemed to imply that Angry Birds was dead, dead until they'd make an unexpected comeback. Turns out they'd spent the previous
was that a
3
movie?
years privately developing the Angry Birds movie. At a cost of $73 million, they'd made a risky bet, but with a star-studded cast and a fun little story, the Angry Birds movie did surprisingly well. It made over $350 million from its $70 million budget and put Angry Birds back into the public spotlight. People began replaying their previously released games, while Angry Birds theme parks popped up in different countries. Media outlets reported Rovio Games had its best year ever in 2016. However, the gaming releases that Angry Birds was known for was still declining in quality. In his video, I played and ranked every Angry Birds game so you don't have to, Jake Miller talks about Angry Birds Action.
Angry Birds Action was the start of using the new anthropomorphic designs from the movies in their games, which I think most fans agree was the real beginning of the end for the series.
Which happened to be the first game after the movie. Similarly, in the Reddit thread asking about the worst Angry Birds game, one user implied it was most of them after the movie's release.
Yeah, honestly, I think what they should have done instead of like just making so many different games, like the ones that were like the space and like the ice ones, the ice themed ones, they should have probably all made it in under the same game, so that it wouldn't be just like a repetitive like continuation of, so they wouldn't have to like seem repetitive just to have like different apps for pretty much the same experience. So the space one, the ice one, and the first one, the original one, should have been the same game. The Angry Bird, the game with the Angry Birds cars, I understand that one, and I'm actually now really curious if it's still in the App Store, or if Angry Birds is at all in the App Store, because there's like many games that pop off and like die down. For example, right now the one that's like popping off is Clash Royale. Bro, fucking Clash Royale in the past like few months after Jinxie started like playing it, because that's the one that I personally like first started seeing playing it. After he started playing it, bro, I was seeing everybody re-download it again. And when now I'm like walking in college, when I'm like in when I'm in middle of class, I see people like just to my left and to my right, mainly guys, playing Clash Royale, just ranking up in their arenas. And honestly, it's just kind of nice to see how Clash Royale was able to come back from being dead. Not dead, not fully dead, but come back from how it like deteriorated over time. But yeah, let me see. Angry Birds. They do have it, but not. Bro, there's like just a lot of versions. Like Apple Arcade, Angry Birds Dream Blast, Angry Birds Journey, Red's First Flight, Angry Birds Friends, Angry Birds 2. Right? No, there's just too many games that they made that it's not even fun to play, to be honest. Because they're all pretty much the same theme of Angry Birds. Like they couldn't come up with like anything else. For example, like Supercell, the players of the creators of like Clash of Clans or like Clash Royale, Brawl Stars, I think, they have games but they're like completely different. Like there is like Brawl Stars and Clash of Clans, they're completely different compared to Angry Birds, you know? They have like different game modes and they have like a bunch of different games that are just like they're just clearly different. Do I even have anyone watching? Hold on one second. Yeah, I have one watching this myself. Fuck. Okay, how good. Alright.
Said games included Angry Birds Fight, aka a Candy
way.
Crush ripoff, as well as
Yeah,
Angry
Candy Crush
Birds
ripoff.
Match, which was described as extremely bland. However, thankfully for Rovio, their older titles were still extremely popular, with Angry Birds 2's revenue growing 47% in 2018, despite it being over 3 years old. This gave them the budget to make a second movie. However, their $65 million bet didn't pay off so well this time. Forbes wrote
didn't
Angry
really
Birds
watch
2 is
Angry
worse
Birds
than the
2.
original in nearly every way, whilst Rotten Tomatoes critics added, a distressingly ineffective sequel that grows less and less interesting and more tiresome as it unfolds. Still, the movie made a profit of $82 million, right as the company
still
was
good.
making some weird changes.
That's still
Despite
good.
their
82
older
million
games being low maintenance,
for a company
Rovio
that
decided
big.
to completely stop updating them. Then, without explanation, some of the older beloved titles, including the original Angry Birds, were deleted from the App Store. When
Yeah.
people began to talk about what they'd done, people made compilations stating Angry Birds was dead. There were comments like, "Remember when Rovio actually cared?" whilst hashtag BringBack2012 began to trend on Twitter. Things got so bad that Rovio apologized, stating they only did it as maintaining the highest quality of updates and live operations isn't possible with our older games. In response to the backlash,
Yeah,
that
honestly,
announced
they're
they
right
planned
there.
on redeveloping Angry Birds Classic, which was re-released on the App Store in 2022. But
Yeah, I
at
just-
a
I
price
just
of
saw that.
$199 with no in-game purchases,
No, it's-
they'd
I
changed
just saw that it's
Classic's
free.
name to Red's First Flight, making it harder to find in the App Store, thus prompting players to buy the newer, more profitable games. This successfully fooled some people who struggled to find it on the App Store. However, others knew exactly what Angry Birds was doing. They got rid of the old ones so that you would have no other choice than to play the modern Candy Crush-esque games. They despised the games that made the company and so lost its spirit. Rovio basically confirmed this, openly stating they changed the name due to the game's impact on our wider games portfolio. They further requested that fans continue to bring that passion to our live Angry Birds slingshot games, such as Angry Birds 2, however players weren't too happy. We hope those fans can continue to bring that passion to our other games which have been designed to be more psychologically manipulative and stuffed with more microtransactions. Fixed it for you. The drama was so severe, it seemingly halted any future games, as Angry Birds Classic is still the most recent title, released way back in 2022. In 2023, Rovio was sold to Sega, although this has done little to fix their reputation. One recent tweet expressed, "I very
Sega's
much
still
still
alive.
love Angry Birds. That said, the current state of it is dog shit. My hope for the franchise is at an all-time low right now. I'll just continue to enjoy what I love about it, but it's sad to see what it's become. Despite everything, Angry Birds isn't finished, as they just announced they're making a third movie, although
way.
with the rest of the franchise in decline, its performance might be interesting."
Dude, I didn't know there was gonna be a third movie. And now I wanna watch the trailer. Hold up, we have to watch the trailer now. Wait, 1 second. Yeah, we just had to watch the trailer. Alright, here is the Angry Birds Movie 3 launching into production. The animation is good. That's it. They couldn't make a fucking better trailer than this. It's been a year. There's no new updates. Damn, that's kind of disappointing. But yeah, honestly, amazing video, and yeah, we'll be watching the third movie when it comes out. I have no idea when it comes out. But yeah. Alright, let's watch the next video. What do we have? Alright, this one's good. So we're gonna be... Oh, wait, 1 second. So we're gonna be watching Food Expiration Dates Don't Mean What You Think by Caroline Beans and Ted. To me, it's sort of funny that wasting food is not taboo.
How much of the food in your fridge will you toss before it reaches the table? Hamburger buns from last summer's picnic, milk past its sell-by date, carrots that lost their crunch. Countries around the world waste huge amounts of food every year, and the United States is one of the worst offenders.
Yeah.
37% of U.S. food waste comes from individual households.
Oh, I thought we
And
got
roughly 20% of those food items are tossed because
Dunkin' Donuts.
consumers aren't sure how to interpret the dates they're labeled with. But most of those groceries are still perfectly safe to eat.
Dude, that is a big thing with like Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts throws away like their whole like stack of like donuts and then they just and then they don't really even give it away or anything. They just toss it straight to the garbage, and they're pretty much still perfectly good because they make it the same day.
So, if the dates on our food don't tell us that something's gone bad, what do they tell us? Before the 20th century, the path between where food was produced and where it was eaten was much more direct. And most people knew how to assess freshness using sight, smell, and touch. But when supermarkets began stocking processed foods, product ages became harder to gauge. In the US, grocers used packaging codes to track how long food had been on the shelves, and in the 1970s, consumers demanded in on that info. Many supermarkets adopted a system still in place today called open dating, where food manufacturers or retailers labeled products with dates indicating optimum freshness. This vague metric had nothing to do with expiration dates or food safety. In fact, it's rarely decided with any scientific backing, and there are usually no rules around what dates to use. So most manufacturers and retailers are motivated to set these dates early, ensuring customers will taste their food at its best and come back for more.
Oh shit.
This means many foods are safe to eat far beyond their labeled dates. Old cookies, pasta, and other shelf-stable groceries might taste stale, but they aren't a health risk. Canned foods can stay safe for years, so long as they don't show signs of bulging or rusting. Low freezer temperatures keep
Okay, I'll do
bacteria that
something
cause
new.
food poisoning in check, preserving properly stored frozen dinners indefinitely. Refrigerated eggs are good for up to 5 weeks, and if they spoil, your nose will let you know. And you can always spot spoiled produce by off odors, slimy surfaces, and mold. Of course, there are some cases where you're better safe than sorry. The USDA recommends eating or freezing meat within days of purchase. Beyond their printed dates, ready-to-eat salads, deli meats, and unpasteurized cheeses are more likely to carry pathogenic bacteria that can slip past a smell or taste test. And the dates on infant formula are regulated to indicate safety. But while some of these labels work as intended, the vast majority don't. In a 2019 survey of over 1,000 Americans, more than 70% said they use date labels to decide if food is still edible. And nearly 60% said they'd toss any food past those dates.
Yeah, honestly, that is one of the big things. That is one of the big things that I do. Mainly for like things that like get bad pretty quickly. For example, bread. I'm not sure how long bread lasts, but once there has been like 3 days past the best by date, I just throw it away because I just thought that that's the time that I expired. And eating it like a day or like 2 or 3 days like later, you'll still be fine, but it just started to like age very quickly. Like that, and there's other products I just like best very, very quickly. if they're not like really frozen.
Restaurants and grocers often do the same. To avoid all this waste, many experts advocate for laws to require that date labels use one of two standardized phrases: best if used by to indicate freshness, or use by to indicate safety. This solution isn't perfect, but some US researchers estimate that setting these standards at a federal level could prevent roughly 398,000 tons of food waste annually. Grocers could also try removing date labels on produce, as several UK supermarket chains have done to encourage consumers to use their own judgment. Many experts also advocate for policies incentivizing grocers and restaurants to donate unsold food. Currently, confusion around dates has led at least 20 US states to restrict donating food past its labeled date, even though the federal government actually protects such donations. Countries like France go even further, requiring that many supermarkets donate unsold food. Regardless of what your government
That's smart for
decides, the
France.
best way to prevent food waste is to eat what you buy. And don't forget that your eyes, nose, and tongue are usually all you need to decide if food is fit for consumption or the compost bin.
Yeah, that's actually pretty smart though, because you can. She's right. You can tell after a certain age. You're able to tell like, all right, this is bad, this is good. If I should eat this or not, because it most likely be moldy. It'd be like white, green, slimy, or it would just pretty much smell bad. Or that the containers for like I don't know juices or stuff like that, it would be like squished, like the same thing as cans. It'd be like kind of like squished, so that's how you know it's bad because it's pretty much busted at that point. But yeah, honestly, I made some video, and yeah, I didn't know that we wasted that much food just being thrown out because of the bad states. All right, next video. What time is it? You have time. Alright, more from watch later. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, so honestly, we have a lot of things that we can watch. Oh. Yeah, we have a lot of things that we have a lot of videos that we can watch right now, and I don't know which one to start with. But there's two that I don't watch, and then there's one left. And then the next one we can just like leave it for tomorrow. So, yeah.
Going. Gone by Dick's Sporting Goods is serving the looks you need for less. Your year, your style, your price.
Like ants, the people of the city scurried. Above them all, a dame, a bold... Oh, Helen, you're narrating again. You stupid sausage.
There's no denying that.
Alright, so we're going to be watching Villains with the Lamest Motives by Asen.
A strong villain makes a great story. Some standout examples include MCU Thanos and Pain from Naruto.
Yeah, they're amazing villains.
Both virtuous villains so obsessed with achieving their end goal that it leads them down a twisted path.
Almighty push!
Then you have these guys, who are basically just evil because they hate the main character. Now we're gonna start off with Aquaman's arch nemesis. Not this guy, Black Manta. You know, he looks... I will say he looks really cool as a character. But unfortunately, the writers can't seem to give him a good backstory because they keep changing his origin and it gets progressively worse for some reason. Originally, he just wanted to build a utopia for black people underwater. So this man just wanted to build Wakanda in the water, but he saw Aquaman as competition. Even though the ocean is quite frankly gigantic. He could have just built his civilization literally anywhere in the ocean, but decided to challenge Aquaman for some reason, the king of Atlantis. Like you couldn't just find somewhere else to build it. Also, fun fact around this time,
there's also like different oceans, so like you could have picked one.
Black Manta actually killed Aquaman's son. Like, that is some fucked shit. That's something you do to someone you really hate. But at this point in his character's history, it wasn't even explained as to why he was beefing with Aquaman in the first place. Like, he just hated Aquaman. The reason why he hated him so much wasn't explained until 20 years later, when it was revealed that Black Manta was actually kidnapped as a child by pirates. While he was kidnapped, he was also getting abused, and one day he saw Aquaman outside in the ocean playing with his dolphin friends. So he tried to signal Aquaman for help, but Aquaman was too busy playing with the dolphins. This left Black Manta to fend for himself, so he ended up killing one of his captors to escape. And from that day on, he decided to hate Aquaman because Aquaman didn't see him because he was too busy playing with the dolphins. So yeah, that
is such a trash reason to hate on somebody. Especially like to that level that even years later, after he grew, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. I'm gonna kill his kid.
that single event in his life caused him to hate Aquaman forever. So much so that he decided to murder his child. But if you thought that origin story was goofy, let me present to you the 2003 version of Black Manta. Now this one's iconic, probably my personal favorite. I'd argue that it should be the definitive version of Black Manta. So in this version, Black Manta was an autistic orphan that was held in Arkham Asylum. I'm 100% serious, okay? This is a real storyline, by the way.
What?
Stop laughing. For some reason, his autism made him really like being submerged in cold water. Like, he felt ecstatic when he was submerged in cold water. Which is very convenient, considering that's what the ocean is. He also hated the feeling of, like, cotton sheets, you know, like, blankets and stuff. Being tucked into a warm, cozy bed felt like excruciating pain to him. Again, you know, very convenient for this character. And then, you know, the doctors would experiment on him, and they were actually getting close to curing his autism. But the experiments had the side effect of making him more aggressive and also giving him superhuman strength.
Is that possible? Can you cure autism? Is that actually a thing? No, there's no fucking way. No, I'm tripping. There's no way that's an actual thing.
So now there's this angry superhuman autistic boy, and I'm being 100% serious. Okay, this is a real storyline. So then he ends up breaking out of the asylum while killing some doctors on the way out because they were abusing him while he was there, and then he decides to become Black Manta, and he hates Aquaman still because
fuck did
he
he
has
get the
a
suit?
warped mind because of the experiments and the autism. What the fuck? I don't know how this story was
that shit makes no
greenlit.
sense.
Like, I don't know who let bro cook. This
Dude, that storyline is so fucking trash. And it lines up absolutely fucking nothing at all with the story about like the pirates that captured him and pretty much abused him. And Aquaman was just out there with fucking dolphins. This shit makes no sense. Like, this happened when he was a kid. Why did he hate on Aquaman to kill his kid if they were just like testing on him for like being autistic? What the fuck?
story was like pitched to executives. Like executives approved this story. This went through multiple checks and somehow got published. Like I don't know how this made it past. The modern version of Black Manta, however, hates Aquaman for a different reason. And it's because Aquaman accidentally killed his father. You know, this one's actually the most simple one and probably the most reasonable reason as to why you'd be a villain. This one's too reasonable. Let's bring back the autistic one. Next up, we have comics' biggest hater, Reverse Flash, also known as Eobard Thawne. By the way, that is a stupid name. How does that? This man was an obsessed Flash fanboy from the 25th century who decided to recreate the Flash's experiment that gave him powers so he could get his own set of super speed. With his newfound powers, he used them to travel back in time to meet his idol, the Flash, aka Barry Allen. But Barry wasn't giving him enough attention and he felt like he was getting neglected. He then began to resent him and decided to become his greatest nemesis. This man has super speed, possibly the most OP power you could ever have. You can travel across the world at light speed. You can create tornadoes by running in circles. You can phase through solid objects because you can vibrate your body fast enough to go through the molecules. You can travel to the past by running faster than time itself.
That makes sense. This is a Mortal Kombat finisher? No! Why am I right there?
Scroll less, learn more. Find your school district's plan at ny.gov/phone free.
Yet out of all the things he can apply his powers towards, he dedicates them to fucking over Barry's life. This man literally
Honestly, when he put that finishing move like that, it did seem like pretty fucking OP superpower. Like, you can move you can vibrate your atoms to go through like hella shit, to go through walls and stuff like that. That seems pretty OP.
traveled back in time to kill Barry Allen's mom when he was a child, and then proceeded to frame his father for his mother's murder. So his father ended up going to jail. And this is actually one of the key events that led to Barry becoming the Flash. Yeah, you heard that right. Reverse Flash created the Flash, and the Flash created Reverse Flash. Because comic books and time travel. This man could have easily killed Barry when he was a child, but decided not to, because then he wouldn't be able to shit on his life anymore. He also broke Barry's arm when he was a kid one time by pushing him down the stairs. He also erased Barry's childhood friend from existence just because he didn't want him to be happy. He also did the villain classic and killed the love of his life. But he didn't stop there, because when the Flash finally found another woman to marry, he attempted to kill her also. So Barry Allen, completely justified, snaps his neck because, you know, he already lost one, he's not going to lose another. But then he gets tried and found guilty for murder after killing Reverse Flash. So even in death, Mr. Eobard is still Fortnite dancing on him. And because comic books, Barry's first love and Reverse Flash end up coming back. And what does this evil man decide to do? Well, back to basics, he tries to kill her again. Bro needs to get a life. Like, imagine dedicating your entire supervillain career to fucking over the same person repeatedly. Anything that's ever gone wrong in his life, or any tiny little annoying event, was probably caused because of him.
It was me, Barry.
Like, he just straight up hates him. He is like the embodiment of Twitter keyboard warriors if they got superpowers. Like, I'm just so petty that I want to ruin your life. I just don't want to see you successful at all. I'm preying on your downfall. Next up.
He fucking dedicated his entire life to fucking him over. And he took the years of patience of waiting to fuck him over. Like, this is not. Like, this guy did not like just finish the job in like 1 week. This guy took years, and even after he got killed, he came back. What the fuck?
We have Lex Luthor. This
Luthor.
bald ass boy. Chrome dome looking ass motherfucker. We all know that he hates Superman. But did you know that this poor bald soul actually used to have hair? He unfortunately lost his hair when Superman did an oopsie, which resulted in him becoming bald.
You bald as shit. I'll be crying if I look like that too, bro. That's fucked up what they be doing to y'all. You probably had the full washing set. Your shit be fire probably if they ain't cut your shit.
If that is not one of the stupidest reasons to become a supervillain, then I don't know what is. Nowadays, he just hates Superman because he's jealous of him. He's jealous that he has powers, and he's also jealous of the fact that he's not even from Earth, yet everyone on Earth loves him. But honestly, I don't know why you'd even be jealous of someone with superpowers in the DC universe, considering you could probably get your own superpowers. Anything in real life that would probably kill you, like radiation or lightning strikes, would probably give you superpowers in the DC universe. Why doesn't this man just get his own superpowers? Oh wait, he did get his own set of powers. One that would make him a literal god. Powers that would allow him to literally create world peace. The only caveat being that he couldn't have any negative feelings. But he decided to denounce these powers because he realized he couldn't make Superman suffer anymore. This guy is... If we learned anything valuable today, it's that DC writes the most petty, dumb shit, fucking idiot villains. It's not because of money. It's not because of world domination. It's not because they're psychopaths. It's solely because they just hate one guy.
I think that was a pretty fucking fun video. It was a pretty good video. I liked it. Alright, moving on. Forgot to press record. That fucking sucks. Alright, regardless, next video. Alright.
What would you say to somebody that hasn't tried therapy before?
Just ask yourself if what you're doing in your life right now is working. If you have peace, if you have good relationships with...
After hitting snooze 3 times, you wake up later than you'd like.
Alright. So we're going to be watching The Psychology of a Man-Child by Sisyphus 55.
Like, you scroll on your phone. After hitting snooze 3 times, you wake up later than you'd like. You scroll on your phone, sickened with the world before you. Influencers, celebrities, you're smarter, more creative, more beautiful than these false digital idols. And eventually you emerge from your bed to greet the day with a coffee and a cigarette. You mean to do some work, but youthful longing carries you through a carousel of procrastination. Video games, texting your friends, a phone call, and a well-deserved nap.
This guy just exactly described my entire fucking morning this day. My whole morning, this guy just fucking described it in the matter of 30 seconds.
Evening light trickles in, and you are once again struck by the total inadequacy of your life. What have you done? Look at all those people who have accomplished so much. And you're an artist without art, a talent waiting to be found. There is nothing in your life that is purposeful. Everything, your relationships, your job, your beliefs, are all acceptable but never compelling. Thirst traps and doom scrolling are your anesthesia.
God,
you drift to sleep and live the same day again and again and again, waiting for the moment when you'll finally grow up. Puer Aeternus, or the Child God, is one of Carl Jung's more well-known archetypes. Also known as Peter Pan syndrome, the man-child, or the eternal child, the Puer Aeternus is someone who simply will not commit to anything in the fear of surrendering to the actualities of human existence.
Holy shit.
That is responsibility, failure, disappointment, and mortality. Instead,
we all know that one man child.
They live, or rather, they exist, with each day experienced as a disassociative blur leading to nothing in particular. As Jung writes, they live the provisional life, where one does not exist really, they are only a spectator, so any experience is ghost-like, perfectly abstract, without a trace of realization.
Damn.
This sort of individual deliberately avoids any aim or target for fear of failure, inadequacy, or the
So that's pretty much describing like a real life NPC, like those kids that you see in the hallway, and they go home and they have, oh my god, I'm a fucking NPC. I'm an NPC now just because I have, well, I'm in college right now, but it's like the first week of school, but I have no friends, I have no fucking, I just go to school and go home. I'm a fucking NPC.
inevitable transitoriness of all things. They evade stable work, stable housing, an education, or a relationship. And they do this even when such opportunities are placed directly in front of them. To involve oneself in the daily rat race is simultaneously overwhelming and beneath them. It is better to die with potential than risk finding what that potential truly is. Why? For one, there is a powerful nostalgia. Teenage love, the archetype of the gifted child, the appeal of youth is so often found in the blossoming of things, the precipice of actuality. There is something alluring in that first kiss, in finding one's passion and discovering who you are. Like Sylvia Plath's Fig Tree, the world offers our youthful selves an abundance of choice, new lovers, friends, countries, and careers, and we often find ourselves seduced by the shade. What's the rush? To pick one thing means maturity. It means growing old and
This
ending up
video is pretty
disappointed.
fucking deep, like
It means surrendering to contingency.
so philosophical.
As we grow and develop alongside, we begin students. We have today's future in tech. Those skills and often want to learn a new. You can also pretend for.
Imagine being able to build anything
What the
just
hell,
by
look
thinking
at your
about
sponsor.
it. Meet Base 44.
Of course, culturally celebrated. Many of the most popular songs detail the yearnings of young love. The lyrics tend to reflect the first encounter, the pursuit, and anxiety over the attainment of the beloved. Rarely do songs romanticize the mundane or monotonous daily rhythms of the relationship itself.
Yeah, right.
Simply put, the idea of love is often more exciting than the experience itself. Can we fault these Don Juans of situationships and indecision? Maybe a little bit. But what about careers? The
Why did they dance
Bildungsroman
like that back in
is
the
an
day?
entire literary genre of wanderlust protagonists soul-searching. One of my
Where did this
favorite
guy get these
authors,
clips?
Herman Hesse, has an entire
These
catalog
are like very
of
old
novels
videos.
containing young men who struggle to grow up and instead fight for the liberty of remaining innocently detached from all things. There is an endless library of books and films that capture the youthful longing for existential clarity. Will you travel to Alaska like McCandless? Will you adopt the role of the wandering vagabond a la Kerouac? There really is something about always living between the lines of who you could become. But these songs do not tell us about the relationship itself, and many of these soul-searching protagonists only exist up until the end, where the answer is finally given and some stability has been achieved. The finality itself rarely entails further elaboration. For those struggling in an economy that offers little certainty and a job market with few gratifying options, it actually makes sense that many would gravitate towards the illusory romanticism of what could be over what is. In
Yeah, right.
short, the world already offers little in the way of clarity or closure, and so there appears to be a sincerity, and at times even a heroism, in never having to choose. A generation of 20-something-year-olds, soon to be 30, living on nothing but hopes and dreams.
Holy shit, though. That's like the majority of people that go to college. Like, they have no idea what they're doing, and they just, like, pick a career that they think they like, but they later on, like, most of them, found out that they don't like it, or some of them like love it, like they found themselves, but they're living on the hope that after like they graduate, they will like have their life like settle down, and they will be pretty much all happy, and it'll all be figured out just if they graduate.
To be fair, this characterization fails to capture the charm of the puer aeternus. Many of these individuals are extremely creative and imaginative. They are capable, incredibly so, and inventive and talented, and often quite smart. The eternal child is not someone who necessarily lacks true potential and is simply deluded by their own sense of superiority. Rather, they have often experienced a great deal of encouragement and verification of their skills, often in adolescence. They were gifted, they were the best in art class, they were well-spoken, articulate, quick to learn, and naturally good at the things that their classmates could never quite grasp. This is the real tragedy of the puer aeternus. It's not because they can't, it is because they won't. The talents and competencies that got them this far eventually come up short, and so they either decide to expose themselves to learning something new that is challenging themselves through making mistakes, coming up short, disappointing others, or they resign into the world of potentiality. I could have been a great artist. I could have been a great writer. In doing so, they avoid the pain of insignificance and simultaneously the anxiety of inadequacy. This is Neverland, a place where people never grow up. Drugs, sex, alcohol, and high adrenaline ventures numb the twilight callings of something greater.
It's like a frat
If
house,
lucky,
pretty
they
much.
will form a
Sorority.
merry band of misfits, other adult children encouraging momentary escape from the fragmentation and restlessness of surrender. Together, these
Party, pretty
companions
much.
along this journey towards nowhere may even keep you there. For one, to escape suggests that the others are wrong. The system is rigged. There's no use in getting disappointed. So let us be petrified together. Due to their magnetism and fantastical thinking, the puer may even turn these connections into the beginnings of relationships. They have a lot of big ideas, and they may even appear ambitious. Music, art, poetry, entrepreneurship. They seduce others with the very same promises they've repeated to themselves through the years. But these ill-fated partners will also discover that this disdain for actuality is not constrained to vocations. Nobody is ever quite good enough. She snores, he lives too far. Any excuse to jump ship grows salient with each passing day of togetherness.
Yeah, right.
Because too many days in a row, and God forbid this may actually be the one. And they're too young, and there's too much potential, too much to do. Why limit oneself? In moments of solitude, the puer aeternus may look back at a handful of lovers and feel a deep loneliness. But this is short-lived in the age of dating apps.
Dude, that is so true. Like, a lot of people like will look at a girl and then think of like, just like mainly men. I can only speak from a man part. Like they will think of like all the reasons why it wouldn't work, and they stop themselves from like actually going up and talking to the girl, or like keep talking to her like and make something meaningful, just because they think like, oh, if I do this, I know I won't be happy later. But you just never tried it. That you end up like a few years later, like just thinking that night, oh, what could have been if I did like take my chances with like that girl.
It is better to distance yourself, slowly and gently. They are in the throes of figuring it out. Because it can be figured out. But first, the puer aeternus must somehow recognize that growing up does not mean losing the feeling of vitality, creativity, or potential that they have become attached to. Instead of this either-or fallacy, such individuals should strive for integration, according to Jung. They must come to understand that maturity, commitment, and responsibility can even become guardians for their dreams and values.
Hi, Mark Barden from Sandy Hook Promise. The shooter who murdered my sweet little Daniel brought an AR-15 with him to Sandy Hook Elementary. In approximately 4 minutes, he shot 154 bullets.
But how is this achieved? This involves embracing the courage to be normal. Often we think that being normal is simply conforming or giving up. Riding the bus, taking night classes, working at the grocery store. These are far from the romantic images of a main character in Waiting. But immersing yourself in society means that you are finally recognizing that there are things that are larger than you and more important than you. The ego is extracted from the mission. Feeling the heat of the crowd or the loudness of traffic or emails from your annoying boss. Each of these strikes at the protective womb that is the puer aeternus. But to work, out there, trying things, is the only way out of stagnation. Rather than waiting for someone or something to carry one off, this should be self-initiated. They should choose to become the captain of their fate and the master of their soul. But how? Well, the job market is shrinking. We should zoom out. The 21st century calls for creative thinking, new jobs and careers and organizations to tackle the emerging threats to our species. Ecological collapse, the rise of political extremism, wealth inequality. There are people or...
Yo, this video is like giving me vibes as if I'm watching a documentary from like World War II.
Organizing, and there are positions, but they aren't easy to get. They may involve doing things you don't want to do. But that isn't the issue. The only thing you should be asking is, what do you care about? What do you want out of this life? Because nobody's coming to save you, and nobody will live your life for you. You've danced along the surface of life so far. Now it's time to take the plunge.
That was pretty cool. Very cool video that I think it relates to a lot of people. That people that are in a path where they don't know what to do with their life and they're going through the same emotions that this guy just explained on the video. Especially of like, I don't know, this guy just this guy just like spit out so many points. But yeah, man. Honestly, I don't think I'll upload this video. This video was just way too deep. Not really the type of content I was expecting to look at today, but fuck it. We're not gonna be playing that video. "13 days ago."
Co-pilot, Banana almost got me in my dream this time.
It might mean you're feeling pursued by a responsibility.
Oh.
Alright, so we're gonna be watching He's Not Hacking, He's Just Really Good by Nathan Doan.
Oh my, bro, this dude is hacking.
Nah, man, he's not hacking. He's just really good.
He did the fastest 180 on me I've ever seen. How do you even know I was there?
You were probably running around making a bunch of noise.
Nah, man, I was walking.
Oh, he's here, he's here. There we go. You see that? He's not hacking.
He turned him off for you.
No, he didn't. You're just bad.
Trust me, you didn't see what I saw.
Whatever, man. Just try your best. I'll carry the team for us.
Bro, I literally died right when the round started.
You're so trash. How do you even die right away?
That's what I'm saying.
He's not hacking, bro. Relax.
He killed me the second we spawned in, dude. There are like 15 different walls between us.
Yeah, he's really good. He's making it look easy.
Making it look easy. Bro, what he's doing is straight up impossible.
Maybe he's like a pro or something. Probably just smurfing on us.
Did you see that?
Yeah, he got me good, man.
Got you good? Bro, he killed you and you were even in his line of sight.
Bro, he wallbanged me. It's part of the game.
With a knife?
Damn, he's actually so good, dude. There's nothing we can do.
We could report him.
He's not hacking, man. How many times do I have to say this?
Bro, there's no doubt about it. Pros can't even do this. He's making the pros look like bots. Trust me, he's hacking.
Felt that.
Yo.
Oh my god, this guy's so good.
What do you... He's hacking, man.
He's probably the best player I've played this week, to be honest.
He has a better gaming chair.
How is he... How's he doing that? Like, there's not even a button that lets you physically even do that.
I wonder what kind of gaming chair he has. He's a god.
Bro, he's a god because he literally has god mode. What kind of gaming chair gives you god mode?
I don't know,
A
man.
good chair.
I need to sell what he's setting.
What the fuck?
He's hacking.
Damn, he really one-tapped all of us.
Bro, he's hacking. That's not even supposed to be in this game. How?
Wonder if he makes any tips and tricks videos I could watch.
Why don't you believe me, man? He's hacking.
Oh, he does. He just shared his YouTube with us, I think.
Oh.
Aimbot.net. Alright. Yeah, I think that was it for today's stream, man. I'm tired now. Got a lot of editing to do. But yeah. See you guys in the next one.